has called on the Justice Department to release more files in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case. In an interview with Fox News, Dershowitz urged the unsealing of FBI 302 forms, summaries of witness interviews, and suggested granting Ghislaine Maxwell immunity to testify before Congress. He claimed names of powerful figures were deliberately redacted. This push comes as federal prosecutors move to unseal grand jury transcripts. Epstein died in custody in 2019. Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence and is seeking a Supreme Court appeal. Now we're joined by Madhav Nalapat. He's an editorial director at the Sunday Guardian. Thank you, Madam, for joining us today. Good to see you. Now, Alan has called on the Justice Department to release more files for this Epstein sex trafficking case. What do you think of the major political impact would be if these files were unsealed, and could this intensify public pressure on the Justice Department?
Look, there's no question that Alan Dershowitz is not just any ordinary lawyer. I mean, not that any lawyer is ordinary, but Alan Dershowitz is a very well-known person, and frankly, he's very well-respected, and obviously he's a person who's an insider, and he knows a lot about what is going on. So he's got to release certain files, and it's going to be very embarrassing if those files are not released. The public have a right to know about the Epstein matter. It involves the most terrible, one of the most terrible crimes of all, which is trafficking in children. And from that point of view, the public have a right to know. So Alan Dershowitz calling for release of the files, he must know something that is in the files that we don't know. And the reality of the situation is, it cannot be ignored. And if it is ignored, then it could very well lead to a lot of complications for President Trump. After all, it is well known that President Trump basically, is the boss of the Attorney General, and she essentially reports to him. Normally, Attorney Generals are independent of the President, but Pam Bondi is completely, she listens to Trump. She's a loyalist, like the other cabinet picks. But the reality is, there's no question that this is a very important voice that has been raised, and it's going to be very embarrassing if the files are not released. And I think the public have a right to know, and I think within the Republican Party also, the majority opinion is that the public have a right to know, and the party should not be seen as hiding the truth. So when you talk about truth, in fact, President Trump's own, platform, social media platform, is called Truth Social. So let's be truthful about this. Let's come out about the Epstein files and see what they contain.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Madhav Nalapat, for joining us and sharing your insight. Now we move on to our next news.